Reflection, Monday, June 8, 2026. Readings, 1 Kings 17, 1-6, and Matthew 5, 1-12. This reflection is prepared by Father Ayoub Francis, pastor at St. Jude Church, Grand Rapids, Michigan, USA. Dear brothers and sisters in Christ, today's readings present two powerful images of faith: the prophet Elijah trusting completely in God's providence, and Jesus teaching the Beatitudes as the path to true happiness and holiness on God. In the first reading, Elijah announces a severe drought to King Ahab because the people have turned away from God. After delivering God's message, Elijah himself must depend entirely on the Lord for survival. God sends him to the brook Cherith, where ravens bring him bread and meat each day, and he drinks from the stream. Elijah teaches us that when we place our trust in God, even during difficult and uncertain times, God never abandons us. His ways may be unexpected, but his care is always faithful. In the Gospel, Jesus begins the Sermon on the Mount with the Beatitudes. The world often teaches that happiness comes from wealth, power, success, comfort, and recognition. Jesus turns this thinking upside down. He says that the poor in spirit, the meek, the merciful, the peacemakers, and those who suffer for righteousness are truly blessed. The happiness Jesus offers is not based on circumstances, but on a relationship with God and a heart transformed by His grace. These teachings are especially relevant today. We live in a society where many people seek fulfillment through material possessions, social status, and personal achievements. Yet despite all the advances and comforts available, many still experience loneliness, anxiety, division, and spiritual emptiness. Like the people in Elijah's time, there is often a temptation to rely more on human solutions than God. Jesus invites us to a different way of living. He calls us to humility instead of pride, mercy instead of revenge, purity of heart instead of selfishness, and peace instead of conflict. The Beatitudes challenge us to measure success not by worldly standards, but by faithfulness to God. To be true followers of Jesus Christ today, we must learn to trust God as Elijah did. We must remain faithful even when life becomes difficult or uncertain. We are called to live the Beatitudes daily, showing compassion to those who suffer, forgiving those who hurt us, standing up for justice, seeking peace in our families and communities, and keeping our hearts centered on God. The saints became saints because they lived these Beatitudes. They trusted God's providence, served others generously, and remained faithful even in trials. Their lives remind us that holiness is possible for everyone who follows Christ wholeheartedly. As disciples of Jesus, we are called not merely to admire the Beatitudes, but to live them. The world needs Christians who radiate kindness, mercy, humility, and hope. Through our words and actions, we can become signs of God's presence in a world that longs for peace and meaning. Question for meditation: which beatitude do I find most challenging to live? And what concrete step can I take this week to follow Jesus more faithfully in that area?